The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to SarahTalk. It's political.
If you really give a fuck about the life of the unborn, you'd better be prepared to help fund WIC and food stamps and welfare, because you don't get to say, I care about that life until it's born, and then turn around and say, well, you shouldn't have had sex if you couldn't care for this child. You should have gotten a better education. You need to work harder. Maybe you should take a second job. It's not my responsibility.
Critical.
When was the last time a Christian was allowed to have a separate place to say their prayers? Look, you can literally bow your head at your fucking desk. You're like, why did he get the thing and I didn't get the thing? You didn't ask for the thing!
And positively LGBT positive.
Look, whenever there's someone coming after my community, they are either wearing a MAGA hat, carrying a Bible, or more often both.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
What the hell is in Idaho?
Potatoes.
Anyway? You could take a drill a
Drill
hole
up
in
a
a potato and
and
fuck
you'd
a
be
potato.
fine.
Would you marry a potato though? Could that be okay?
No, but you wouldn't have to marry a potato because a potato doesn't need consent for you to fuck it.
And now, from Haines City, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to SarahTalk.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. And hey, we're live.
Surprise!
Yay, surprise! So I don't even know what episode this is. My life has been a complete I don't know what for the last 2 weeks because I've just not been on my normal whatever.
It's been weird
And it's been
crazy
fucking
and
great.
awesome, and it's all kinds of things.
I do not want to have to go back to work, y'all.
Well, as evidenced by your first night back
Oh
for
my God.
for a one night
That's on my list of things
thing,
to talk
and
about.
it was such a disaster.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So, oh, you know what else I didn't do?
what did you not do?
Yeah, I didn't hit record. Okay.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to SarahTalk, that's the podcast that doesn't even know what episode number it's on. And, right, so I went back to work because I'm a fucking idiot. So I took off 2 weeks minus a day.
Yeah.
Because on the work calendar, Thursday started the holiday blackout. We've got like a block out. You can't take vacation time, basically Thanksgiving through New Year's.
Right.
So I took the 2 weeks off leading up to it, and I was like, but that's the block out. So I didn't even ask for it off. And then, like, I don't know, 3 days before vacation week, my boss says, why don't you just, why are you coming back for a day? That's stupid. You're going to be off for 2 weeks. Then you need to come back, work a day, and then be off on your weekend? That's dumb. Why don't you just take that day off? And I was like, I didn't think I could. Okay. Well, upon further investigation, we get 2 days of holiday pay this week, but you got to work to really make it worth it, because otherwise you're using vacation pay and it doesn't add up the same. So I was like, whatever, I'll go back. So that's what I did. And so you were not here.
I wasn't.
Let's get on the other track for a minute here. Throw the switch.
Are we doing that? We're jumping back and forth?
Yeah. So
Time travel?
meanwhile, you weren't here.
I was not. I packed up the kidlets and we headed south. They were off of school for the week. So we decided to go down south and stay at my mom's place for a few days.
Uh-huh.
And saw my dad, saw my uncles, saw some friends. It was a really nice time. I don't know what you want out of it.
Anything you want to talk about.
It was just a therapeutic trip, I think, just to go see people I hadn't really gotten to hang out with in like 10 years.
Yeah. Well, you don't go home
I don't.
very often.
I think since I moved here, I've probably gone back maybe a handful of times.
Okay. Yeah. That's about right.
And this was probably the longest.
Well, and you've
span of time. Like we were
You
there.
moved here.
Yeah. Well, to leave, to get away. Like
I was
with
looking for a time frame, but okay, yeah,
Oh.
that too.
okay. I moved here in '08. So it's been 11 years.
Right.
But yeah, this 4 days is the longest that I've gone down there.
I moved down here in 2007, and I go home for weddings and funerals. So I get it. Like,
Yeah.
it's easier for you to just drive down south
Right,
or
it's
whatever.
3 hours. It's not a big deal.
It's 3 hours on a plane for me to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And planes are annoying.
It's different.
I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just was like let's go do this thing. It was cool because I got to take, like, our son is old enough now that he's interested in things like, so I get to show him the house I grew up in. We drove by there. I showed him my school. I showed him the beach where I used to hang out as a kid, the surf shop, and all the little things that are still there.
Right.
And then it was like culture shock for me because South Florida's always been like overdeveloped and crowded, but I couldn't believe
how much it's developed
There's
out
just-
since you left.
there's no grass or trees left. It's just concrete everywhere. It was so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Just in 11 years, how much it was like, whoa, I didn't think they could build it up anymore. But
Right.
the hospital, my dad was in the hospital, so we went to see him, and he was in the hospital that I was born at. And my grandmother worked there, and so I was familiar with that hospital. It was the hospital that had a McDonald's in it. And so we went there, and like just driving up to it, I'm like, this is, oh my God. Like it's got like a 7-story garage now with a walkover on the second floor is how you get
Crazy.
in.
Yeah.
And the McDonald's is still there. Apparently we didn't get to see it, but
He just like built up
Like,
around the McDonald's.
it
It's like
was-
the Up House. It's just those one little old
Yeah,
McDonald's thing in the sea of development.
I'm sure the McDonald's has had a remodel. But it was just like, it was so weird, like just to see how things change.
Yeah.
Even like we did a drive with the to go from where we were staying to that hospital is about a half-hour drive on I-95. And so one of the trips down, we took the beach route. So we went down A1A
Uh-huh.
just to see the beach.
Yeah.
Show the kids the water.
A1A is a fun drive.
A1A is fun.
Yeah.
And then that was cool. And then when we decided to come home on Thursday, I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't want to be on the highway for like the whole trip.
Right.
So because my mom lives so far east, it was just a quick hop over to A1A.
Mm-hmm.
So we went the opposite direction on A1A. And I was really disappointed because the drive north, you used to see a lot of the beach and a lot of the water. But now they've put in
Like storm walls.
sea grape trees. And
Oh.
I'm not sure what they're combating. I think a lot of it could be that there's car accidents because people are driving and they're looking at the water.
Yeah.
But there's also turtle nesting grounds down
Right,
there.
Right.
So they had these sea grape trees that they were never there before. And I used to work like on the Palm Beach County line. And so that was a beach that I would go to like on my lunch break and just sit in the car in like, just to, kind
Yeah.
of look at the water. And you can't do that anymore. And it
Wow.
was kind of like sad. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so we got to see both ends of like the south side and the north side as far as the
Mm-hmm.
waterfront, which was cool. Our son loved the intercoastal. There's lots of boats and yachts and big mansions, and
Mhm.
he was all about that. Oh, look at those boats. Oh, that boat's a speedboat. Like, I want a boat. I want a big house with a boat.
Good Lord.
He picked out the house he wants.
Oh, sure he did. Yeah,
It's
of
a
course.
$1 billion mansion.
Yeah, right. Of course it is.
Like, oh, buddy, we need to make sure you get into a good college.
But yes, you got to see some family that you don't normally get to see,
Mhm.
and you got to you did some early Christmas with
Yeah, I did some early Christmas
dad
with,
and your
with
brother.
my dad and my brother. A friend of mine just recently had a baby. Got to spend some quality time with her.
adorable baby.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetest thing.
Yeah. And luckily, our kids are young enough and in the house. It's driving us fucking crazy still, or
we would have baby fever,
I
right?
think we probably would.
No, I'm done. I'm so done.
There is something about babies emit this frequency.
Yeah, they do.
That just short circuits all functioning logic in your brain. That reminds you, no, these are monsters. They're cute.
Don't say that.
But they grow into absolute monsters.
They do. They do.
They do.
It's true. You still love them, though.
I love them deeply, but they're monsters. Listen, I would be playing Zelda Breath of the Wild right now.
So one of the things that we got, Sarah and I,
if it wasn't
got
for
for
your
Christmas
monsters,
was a new game for the Nintendo Switch.
Excuse me while I clear the camera.
What? Oh, it got
I'm
blurry.
gonna throw it back into focus. Yes.
One of the gifts that we got at our early Christmas with my brother was he got Sarah and I Zelda. Now, our son hasn't let us play it.
He got, if you listened to last week, he's got a Switch.
Oh yeah, he got a Switch.
So he's really excited that. And he has been playing Mario
Deluxe.
And that's a lot of fun. I love that because we can play together.
Yeah.
Like two players on the screen. There are things combination moves that you have to work together to do to get really all the things. I love that game.
That game is so... I wasn't sure I was going to like it because it's not like original Mario.
No.
But I like it so much better.
Somebody posted something earlier today and I can't remember what it was, but I commented like, companies have figured out that our generation...
we get nostalgic.
You can sell us anything with a little... Oh, it was the commercial with E.T. and Elliot all grown up.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh my God.
I heard about it, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's an ad for fucking internet something or other. Like, oh boy, E.T., so much has changed since you were here last.
Right.
Check it out. Here's Frontier Internet or whatever it was, right? Which is stupid. But here I am watching a 3-minute commercial
crying
going
your
like,
eyes out. Yeah.
That's Elliot. Elliot's all grown up. Oh.
Yeah, and it's like it's stupid.
They have figured out
got it.
that nostalgia really works on us.
Well,
and so the Mario game has little hints of the old, like, oh my God, the hours that we spent playing the original Mario, Mario 2, Mario 3, Super Mario World with Yoshi. Like all of those elements, they went right back to that sort of where it all kind of where we spent those hours and hours and hours in front of the fucking TV trying to beat this goddamn game, just grinding through the levels.
Right.
And added little dashes of it here and there so that you're like, oh, this is a cool new game. Oh, that's from my game.
Right. Well,
that's from my Mario.
And there's like, it's visual cues and sound cues.
Yeah.
And like every now and then there's just this like, oh, cool. You know, like, and I don't really remember the original Mario Kart.
No, I don't really either.
But this new one is so cool. Like I remember playing Mario Kart.
Right.
But I don't remember there being like tracks for all the other Nintendo games. So this one has like the tracks for Donkey Kong and Zelda and it's like, oh, you're driving through and it's like, oh my God.
And those are all playable characters.
Yeah, and they're all playable characters. And
the
they
Zelda
always
world
were.
is so freaking cool.
Like I remember
Donkey Kong was, but
I remember that being a thing on the original Mario Kart where you could play different Nintendo characters.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the world's. I don't know. Somebody call me out on it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I didn't really. I was more into the regular Mario.
If anybody's watching and wants to call in, let me know ahead of time so I can plug the phone in. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll try it. So anyway, so we've been playing Mario Deluxe, which is great. And then, but that was the only game he had.
Yeah.
Right? This is like, go back to the days when all you had was Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and that Olympic game that came with a little floor mat that you figure we laid it down on the floor and you figured out that if you like ran with your feet or ran with your hands as feet,
it would
you
work.
could go really, really fast and then you just jump.
Yeah.
And then you land.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had that.
We didn't have that one. We had the Caveman games, which was a very misogynistic.
Of course it was.
1986
or
literally
some shit?
one of the games was cave woman toss, and it was the caveman came out and grabbed a cave woman by the hair and had to spin her around, and whoever could throw her the farthest.
Sure.
So, but I mean, my brother and I remember having blisters on my thumb because you used the plus to spin. Oh my God, it was the stupidest. One of them was you had to ride a dinosaur race. Oh, I loved Paperboy.
I played Paperboy so much.
I loved Paperboy. We would borrow that when we didn't own that one. Our neighbor owned it. We would borrow it for so long that my neighbor's dad would finally like come over and be like, "Can I have Paperboy back?"
Right, dude. That was in the time when so on the block we had my house, the Schwartz's house. They had 3 sons. One that was in my class, one older a year, and one younger by a couple years. And then next to them was Nathan, and then on the other side of them were a couple kids that were in a class near us. Like all these kids around the same age. We all lived on the same block, right? Like 7 houses on the block, and more than half of them were kids.
Yeah, our block was like that too. Everybody had kids.
My house was that everybody come to our house. Like all of these kids were always in my living room. Like we were all playing video games and they were eating our food. Like that was
my next door neighbor's house. They had 3 daughters, and then there was like a house on the one corner. There's 2 boys there, and then there was, when I was really little, there was a family across the street, catty corner to us, and then next door to us, and then there was everybody had kids. There was like maybe 3 houses that were like little old couples, but then they had grandkids that would come over.
Yep.
And we'd play with their grandkids.
You know, speaking of nostalgia, like this is a thing because now I think about my kids. They don't know any of the kids that live in our neighborhood.
Yeah, like
they all don't go to school together, and they don't like that was small town living.
And our son does go to school with 2 or 3 kids in our neighborhood, but they're all middle schoolers, and they're not really.
They're not gonna play with him right now, right?
Right. It's strange. It's such a different world. It's sad.
Yeah. And so, go ahead.
And I was like very overprotected too. Like I remember being able to go play with my neighbors, but my mom also was like, I wasn't allowed to pass my neighbor's mailbox on this side, and I wasn't allowed to pass
that was
my neighbor's mailbox. I mean, I think the first time I ever was like went around the block by myself was like after I had my driver's license, and I did it in my car.
Wow.
Like we were not, but I can't really blame her because when I was about 5 years old, a little girl in my neighborhood was kidnapped and murdered.
Yeah,
like she lived on the next street behind us.
Jesus Christ.
She was a little girl that I played with.
Yeah, I would never let you out of the house again.
So I can understand.
Ever again.
Like, I totally understand.
Yep.
That she was kidnapped and it was really brutal. They found her decapitated.
Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about something else.
So anyway, that's why I wasn't allowed out of the house or out of the eyesight of the door.
We were talking about trading games. And that was the thing that, my God. Because it was like, I'll trade you Metroid for Kid Icarus. Like, all of these games, man. Shit.
Can I borrow your Tetris and I'll let you have my, what's the other one?
Dr. Mario.
Yeah, Dr. Mario.
That's the same game.
We had the combo pack, had both of them on the same cartridge.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when Game Boy came out and you could finally take games with you. That was so crazy huge.
I remember when my mom got all nutsy and took the Duck Hunt gun away because guns are bad.
What? Okay. That's just a little much.
It was. Well, you know.
Hey, it's your mom. Hey, Russ, speaking of your family.
Russell, do you remember that?
So then I had a Game Boy and I had all the games. But like Mario and Zelda were the franchises.
Yeah.
Were the not adventure, because Mario was a scroller. But it was like Mario, Zelda. I got huge into Dragon Warrior, and that evolved into Final Fantasy. And so like OG Final Fantasy, not this bullshit Final Fantasy 7, 10, whatever, like that went on the PlayStation, and now it's this completely other different thing.
Not even the same
thing.
The
original, like the Final Fantasy that was Final Fantasy, there were different numbers in Japan than they were here.
Right.
those the NES Final Fantasies. And so those were like the franchises that I was like that I bought into.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see things on my Facebook, and I definitely will now because they'll pop up on my fucking Facebook's listening thing. When I see Zelda themed stuff that calls back to that nostalgia, I want it all. Take my money.
Yeah. I actually
want a Hyrulean shield that backlit green hanging on my wall. I want that.
See, you need to go back over to Laura's house because she's got all the Zelda stuff, and you can just kind of live in that world for a little while. And
no, it's not the same.
It's crazy though because
I also wanted to do our son's room in Mario and put like, bricks on the wall with a mushroom on top or a coin popping out of it, and like,
yeah, it would be awesome. It would be totally awesome.
And I love, I guess, where this story is really going is that like I love that he is falling in love with the stuff that I fell in love with.
I was so glad he took to Zelda.
Yeah,
because I was really worried that he was not going to be into it at all.
Yeah,
and now you can't get the controller out of his hand.
Yep. So
it's kind of also sad because now you're going to just have to take the Switch to work.
We beat Mario in a day.
Yeah.
In a day,
he's going to beat Zelda before this show is over.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry.
No, I don't think so. It's a 300-hour game. I don't know.
Well, Mario, what was OG Mario? How long did it take you to beat OG Mario?
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a long time.
But there wasn't save points that you could like come back to. Like you died. You had to go back to the beginning of the world.
That's true.
Like that sucked. It was hard.
They've had to make it easy for these little kids that need participation trophies. And
I thought that was my generation.
Then the next one is really
we didn't
that
get
much
participation
worse.
trophies. You know what we got? We died. You get 3 hearts. You're dead. The end. Start over from the beginning of the whole fucking game. You died 3 times.
Funny though.
You're done.
Earlier when you were playing and he says you're gonna die because you were in the water,
and I was like, "I'm good. I'm
good, dead." It's like I told you, because he's watching the meter that I guess you didn't know was there. Oh, that was so funny. I could have laughed so hard.
So anywho, so now he's into Zelda, but before that, Russell got them Mario Kart.
Yes,
and so. We're a couple controllers short still.
Santa.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Santa. But then we can all 4 play together.
That'll be so fun.
And the little one, she's good.
Really
she beat me a couple of times.
I was surprised that
playing
she picked
Mario
up so
Kart.
quickly because when they started playing it at my mom's, she was like one hand on the button, one hand in her thumb, just not really looking at the screen. She'd come in 12th place, 8th place on a good run. Yeah. She beat Sarah like the first time she played Sarah.
2 or 3 times, yeah.
I was like, whoa, little one's getting it.
Russell says, well, damn, that was supposed to be for the 2 of you, and the other games were for him.
We told him.
We know. He knows. But listen, here's why it's okay. Well,
Sarah's just going to take the Switch.
I'm going to take it to work. But here's how I got there. So initially,
it was so annoying.
The deal was going to be when you sign into the Switch, there are different accounts that you can log into.
Yeah.
You can have your save games, and I can have my save games. The problem is, we started Zelda together. And so it was, here, you go beat this dungeon, and then I get a turn. And I got, okay, I beat this shrine, and now it's your turn. Oh shit, it's the rock monster. Give me the controller. I'll go get it, right? Okay, I beat the rock monster. Now here's your turn again. So we're both a little invested in where we're at, right? Little fucker's in there right now playing it. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what towns he's been to. I don't know what people he's talked to. I'm missing. It's like getting up in the middle of a movie to pee
and coming back
and you're like, okay, tell me what happened, because I don't know. And he won't be able to relay it to me.
What happened when you got up? Han Solo died. That's what happened.
Damn, spoiler alerts.
If you haven't seen it by now, you deserve the spoiler. It's like 4 movies ago.
Okay, but here's the thing. So I didn't know if he was going to be into games like that.
Yeah.
Right? We've played side scrollers.
Mm-hmm.
He's played, he got Splatoon too, so he's been playing that.
Yeah.
And that's a 3D world where you're going around solving puzzles and doing things. And that, he really likes that. The Mario game kind of has a story to it, but it's Mario's Mario. You're going to go beat Bowser's kids.
And he's played
Bowser,
Mario
and then you're
before.
Gonna get the Princess Street and all whatever, right?
Because he's played the Mario because we have the Super NES, but he's never played anything related to Zelda.
Never played Zelda. Now, what do you remember your first Zelda game to be?
Oh God, it was one we borrowed from the neighbors. It was probably Ocarina of Time or the OG.
Yeah. So I had the original Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
And I can remember
Is that the one with the gold cartridge.
Yes. Yeah,
that
you could
one.
Get right.
Yeah, that's
it was like
probably
two
the
different
one, yeah.
versions.
Yeah.
And I remember beating it, and then it flips to like a B set where it's the same game but everything's moved. Like the map is the same, but all the shit is in different places, and you're like, do it again, fucker. And it's like, what happened right now? No, I beat the game. And it's like, do it again.
Yeah.
That was hard. That was a hard fucking game.
Yeah.
A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, that's where I bought into the story of that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I like put my money down and said, I'm going to spend the rest of my life beating this game. And I spent years playing that game and ultimately beating it. But it was one of those games that had a sort of adventure level to it that almost like an RPG where you have to go grind to level up to be able to go to the next thing.
Right.
That a lot of games just didn't have.
Yeah.
And or that were strictly relegated to Final Fantasy type games.
Right.
That were like turn based.
It's not just go get a mushroom and then
run to the flag and you're done. Right.
It's you have to figure out how to
it's puzzles and
work around this.
And the water fortress where you throw switches and the water rises and lowers and based on where the water level is to do the next piece of the task and that kind of stuff. Like really puzzle related things you have to think
strategic.
Strategy.
Yeah.
And so that was the Zelda game that really brought me in. I had the one for the Game Boy, which was Link's Awakening. I played it a lot. I don't know that I ever beat it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it didn't have as big an impact on me because it was the Game Boy. That was before Game Boy Color. This was like original Game Boy, okay?
2 pixel. Well, then I'm glad that the people I talked to said to get the one that we got because I asked around about that because I didn't even know that Link's Awakening was a thing before Switch.
Yeah.
And my trusted sources said, no, that was on Game Boy.
Right. It's a remake.
Okay, well then that one's probably been played already and let's not even go there.
Right.
Because I liked Zelda and I played it, but I wasn't like, I know the stories. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't super into it. But I do have friends that were. So.
What's really interesting about our son is, and this is why I'm happy about it. We're finally getting around to this. Like, this is why I'm excited. When we first started getting into games with him, we pulled out the old N64 games and we played Ocarina of Time with him.
When?
I don't remember, but I remember doing it, and he just wasn't interested.
Okay.
He just,
I was trying to
it was real little though.
Oh yeah.
But I wasn't sure if he was going to get into a long-term story game.
Right. Well, yeah. It's hard for him.
Right. There's an ADHD thing that's going on, but also knowing that as someone who grew up with ADHD and lived in game world, like, when it's something that interests you, that's a spectrum thing. If it interests you, I'm in 1,000%.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the world is off. I shut off everything else, and all I can focus on is this one thing that is I'm hyper interested in. And that happens at schoolwork and everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't know how he was going to take to it, and now he's completely invested in the story.
Well, there was a point in the game
I
where,
got a horse, and I've trained my horse, and now I'm going to
but no, there was like a point in the game where it stopped to tell the story, and it
was a long cutscene.
It was really long, and I was like, oh, he's not gonna sit through this, and he zoned into it, and then he says, "We got this, we can do this, yeah." And I'm like, whoa,
yeah, yeah. So I'm happy that he's. It's really cool to like your kids to get into shit that you're into or that you were into. My parents wouldn't touch video games. Oh no. Mom, Dad, play games with me. We don't really like that. They would not play video games.
My parents, my mom and I would play Tetris. We'd have Tetris and Dr. Mario tournaments. We had another game that my dad liked. It was sports,
of course, Jeopardy. Okay, sure.
Which is cool because I really like trivia. But I wasn't really into sports.
Right.
So, but I did. There is like a Jeopardy Wheel of Fortune thing.
Yeah.
Like basic pop culture for the Switch that I was looking at. I thought that would be cool. Just to do like trivia type stuff and word puzzles.
Yeah.
Because those were shows I watched as a kid. So
yeah, right.
Nostalgia again.
Yep. Again. Here we go again. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's really cool that there was a big part of me that was like, okay, I have to go put the baby to sleep. Put that fucking controller down because I don't want to miss anything.
And I tried, I did. I was like, listen, Mommy is going to put little one to bed. Why don't you and I play Mario Kart now that she's not out here? Because you can't turn Mario Kart on.
Oh, yeah, the baby wants
or she wants to play.
You keep calling her the baby. She's 4.
Yeah. She wants to play. And it's my turn. And okay, but it's my turn and we're playing a tournament. A tournament is 4 races. No, it's my turn.
And
then if you don't let her have a turn,
right.
I'm not your friend anymore.
Yep.
So it's just easier to just let's play after she goes to bed.
Once Santa comes and everybody has a controller, and this will be so much.
I'm wondering if we don't have the elves bring the controllers.
Yeah, right.
I'm wondering if we don't need to just supply. I mean, it's here. It's just Okay.
So, I was gonna ask that after you played it long enough, because now games.
That was the only way I could get good at it,
right?
Because you
just
have
memorize
to
the
play the
40
same,
right. But if you play those games now, all the devices are fucking connected to the internet,
and they can just download their new information. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, those trivia games were easy back in the day. I remember Wheel of Fortune on the PC.
Now you
the very early. Original Wheel of Fortune on the PC, and that's how it was. There were no add-on packs. There were no download a new
no updates.
Dictionary or whatever. Nah, it was the same puzzles over and over again. Hey, welcome to the SarahTalk video game podcast.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how that happened. We could do that though. I could talk about games all day.
Oh, maybe that's the podcast you do with him.
Yeah, maybe.
He's dying now. Now you came in here and
we
did
were
one show with you.
We were like, dude, look, you can play this game. We're gonna go in the studio and do SarahTalk. And he was like, but I want to go. I'm like, oh, so I hope you guys liked him last week because he loved being a part of it.
He wants to be in here with us. He's so mad that he can't. He's gonna beat that game out of spite just because you left him out there.
Yep. So I had to go back to work.
Yeah.
So I had a week off with the family.
Yes.
And we had a really good week.
We did.
I was getting shit done around the house that I'd been wanting to do for a really long time, things that have been needing done. Didn't get the paint that I wanted to get painted and put up, but
we'll get there.
That's a thing that honestly, I don't have a preference. I'll trust you. You can go pick out paint colors and I'll just put the paint on the wall.
You heard it here. I have it on record. You are recording this, right? You think you are?
Fuck, it's still recording. Anywho, so that I didn't get done that I wanted to get done. But we had a really good, I needed that. I needed to be able to spend time with the family because his work thing is just kicking my ass.
Yeah, it was way long past due, and I think it was really good.
Yep.
For everybody.
And it helped that there was no school. Like,
yeah.
that was helpful that we're on holiday break.
Yeah.
And like we could actually really spend some quality time together.
It's good.
So then the second week that I was off, y'all went to South Florida, and I had the house to myself.
For 4 glorious days.
And that was nice. It didn't feel like 4 days, that's for damn sure.
Well, I left on Monday. I came back on
and
Thursday.
I went back to work Wednesday night.
So, yeah, it wasn't
2
really.
days and a half.
Listen.
Anyway, so I'm going back to work. Now, longtime listeners will know this about me, but those of you new to the show, welcome. I have anxiety, and it's not treated, and I'm not taking medication, and I can't afford to see my therapist, and even when I need to see my therapist, I can't get in. As happened last time, I was having a mental break. So I have the kind of, it's funny because I posted about this in the gayish podcast group, and Mike commented that like, oh, you have the helpful kind of anxiety that's like tries to be helpful but really fucks your life up, where it's like, hey, you forgot to lock the door, you should probably go back and lock that door, right? Like that's helpful. That, you know, those people don't come in your house and steal your TV and whatever. So I have that helpful kind of anxiety where I just think of things, and then my brain just has to take them to the worst possible conclusion. So on that particular night, y'all were still gone. I was going to work that night. I putzed around the house all day and tried to get a little stuff done. I rested a little bit. I'm like hungry, so I ruined a bag of pizza rolls. Don't ask how you do that. It's a math problem. See, if my son was here, that wouldn't have happened. No. Because it's like, okay, if you're gonna cook one serving of pizza rolls, which is like 6, which fucking who eats 6 pizza rolls? Then you cook them on this temperature for this length of time, and it's like if you cook more than that, then just adjust accordingly. Well, here's the thing. This is, to me, pizza rolls are done when the goo starts coming out the ends. So I overcooked them.
Okay.
And they were like, just go with me. And they were like hard as a fucking rock. So I chewed through a couple of them. That's probably why I have a headache. Because it was just like crunch.
Oh my God. Oh.
They weren't burnt. They were just hard as a rock. Anyway, so I ruined a bag of pizza rolls. And then I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to eat some of these. And then I'm going to lay down and rest because I'm going to have to go to work tonight. So I tried to lay down, toss and turn, nothing. Tried to watch something on TV. That didn't help. Nothing. 8:30 rolls around and my brain is like, hey, you know what? It's time to go to bed. You're tired. You should go to sleep right now. Because for the past week and a half, I've been going to sleep at night.
Oh, shit.
No, brain. I can't go to sleep right now because I got to get up in an hour to go to work. Okay, fine. I'll lay down for an hour. I'll close my eyes, whatever. So the dog and I are on the couch. I'm trying to rest. It's not really working. I didn't really get any sleep. And then finally, I'm just like, well, I guess I'm going to go to work now because I'm up. So I get up, get in the Jeep, drive to work. I'm maybe 5-10 minutes away from work, tops. Guess what my brain says? You were cooking today, weren't you? You remember to turn that off? Huh? Oh, you don't remember? Oh, well, here, have a mental image of your house burning down with your dog inside crying her little fucking head off because she's burning to death. And I'm like driving to work, just sobbing, just tears. And I'm trying to, like, I have the Uconnect car thing now. And so I'm like hitting reply to Becca's text. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't, this isn't working. I can't do this anymore. Fuck this. I'm done. And I'm surprised any of those words ever went through. And finally, I was just like, I don't know what to do. You're in South Florida. I'm going to have to go home. So I turned around and I sobbed my ass all the way home. And I got home And like, there's also a point where I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I closed the garage door. I don't remember it coming down. And this happens all the time.
All the time.
I will text at least once a week.
Can you check the hair iron off?
Yeah, the flat iron.
Can you check the coffee maker?
Yep.
Can you check the garage door? Did you, all the things.
All the things. Yep.
Did the sliding door get locked? Like all the things.
Yep.
And I do it too, like at home. But I'm in bed, and I wonder if I'll get up 5 or 6 times at night when you're not here.
But it's different, like getting up and checking it than it is being an hour away.
Right. Well, sure.
Yeah.
When we went, where did we go? Well, on our way to Orlando.
Yeah.
There was like meltdown about something. Oh my god! And we both have it. It's not like it's just this,
and that's really bad.
Really not good.
No.
But
because that also breeds like a small distrust too. We're like, when I go, fuck, did we close the garage door? And you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we closed the garage door. I'm like, define pretty sure. Because what you just said was, I think maybe but you don't remember, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're sure? And then I'm like double second guessing everything.
What I've started doing, because like I'll leave the house during the day, and you'll be in bed
asleep, right?
And so like because I will almost all 9 times out of 10 when I take the little one to school, I stay at the school, right? And I would have these like, did I shut the garage door? Crap. I mean, we don't live in a bad neighborhood, but we don't live next to a good neighborhood. So, and even in the good neighborhoods around here, there's people that go around and
well, I want you to tell that story
I will.
Too. Okay.
People going around checking for unlocked car doors.
Yeah. We've had like the police has put out a thing on Nextdoor or whatever. Like,
and so,
yeah,
like I've gotten into the habit of when I close the garage door, I say out loud, "All right, garage door closed."
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah. So
how's that work out for you?
But it reminds me most of the time that yes, I did close the garage door today.
Right.
So that later in the day when that thought pops into my head,
right,
I can go, nope, I remember closing it. I remember saying that I closed it or whatever.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that thing when I say, "Hey Sarah, will you remind me later to do this?" It's not so much that I expect you to remind me, but it's that I'm saying that thing out loud. Yeah. It just kind of, I don't know. It's a weird thing. So
no, Russell, the oven wasn't on. Of course the oven wasn't on. The stove wasn't on. Are you fucking kidding? No, the door is always locked. The garage door is always closed. The windows are always shut.
The iron is always off.
Everything is always done.
The coffee maker was off.
There's just this thing in my brain that goes, but is it?
It's a nagging.
But is it?
Because you worry.
Right. And then, but it's not just a worry, because then it's like, all right, what's the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
And then I see the bathroom light up in flames because the flat iron got left on. Well, and like I just have to live out the entire thing until I get to the point where I'm like, gotta go back home.
But let me tell you, the worry is justified because what was it a couple of weeks ago?
Mm-hmm. Oh, when we melted the
hot iron got left on, and then the hairdryer got set on top of it, and it melted. I melted my hairdryer, and almost ruined a freaking $100 hair iron. Yeah. Fortunately, we caught it while the melted plastic was still hot. We were
still there to
But yeah, like it is a justified fear because there's been plenty of times.
But is it? So
the coffee maker, I'll go out into the kitchen and it's like
bubble burn on the bottom. But is this the like is this just an extension of the rustling in the bush sort of thing where your brain is on a certain level protective of, you know what I mean? Is it a protection that's
I don't know.
It's that has an evolutionary
I don't know
history to it that like this is why your brain does this,
right? Because
if your brain didn't do this, you would have burned your house down a long time ago,
right? Well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so that actually goes kind of, maybe this is a good segue. I don't know, whatever. Okay. So I do this thing when I'm out in public. I hate going out after dark. I hate it. I don't like being out. If I'm going to go somewhere where I'm just driving and I don't have to get out of my car, that's better. First of all, I have I don't want to call it night blindness because that's not what it is, but I have depth
Yeah, you just
perception
don't
problems.
see
It's just
the
not as
same, right.
safe.
Yep.
So when I am out after dark, I'm super on guard and like 10 times more careful than I normally would be.
Sure.
So this afternoon, and it was like 5 o'clock when I left the freaking house.
See, it seems later, but okay.
But it's because it's getting darker earlier. And had I realized
that's
it was
fair.
going to be dark, I probably would have not gone. But we needed pop, and I needed to get some stuff at the dollar store. So I thought, well, it's late enough. All the Black Friday people should be gone. I'll just run over to Walmart. I got Coke, and I got Mountain Dew, and I got some stuff.
Yep.
And then next to our Walmart across the way is a Dollar Tree.
And this is all 4 minutes from our house.
4 minutes.
Like right around the corner.
I don't even have to get on the main street.
Right.
By the time I got done at Walmart, it was dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, I'm just going to run over to Dollar Tree really quick. Now, Dollar Tree is pretty, like, it's in a weird, sketchy looking parking lot, but it's a very busy parking lot. And so I felt reasonably safe. I go into Dollar Tree. I was getting a roll of wrapping paper and a couple of the storage bins because the kids have crap everywhere, and I'm trying to consolidate it and get it organized for the holidays.
Right.
So I was in there for 3 things, and I was out in 5 minutes, but I wasn't out in 5 minutes. There was a line of people waiting to also be out in 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
but I just happened to park right in front of the door, like, so I could see. I was in the line. I could see my Jeep from inside, and it just, because I'm always on guard and on alert, I was just like looking out the window, and I see this guy like walking around my Jeep, kind of like in the front, and like just looking, and he's up on the sidewalk. He's not near it, and then he walks down and next to it on the driver's side, and is like kind of looking inside, and I'm like, what the fuck is this fucker think he's doing? And so I had my key in my hand, I had my fob. And he went to reach for the door handle, like he was going to open the door. And it was locked.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought, oh, fuck no. And I pounded the panic.
Yep.
And he took off running, and he ran back towards the Walmart. And I thought, are you fucking kidding me now? I don't know if he saw me pull in. I didn't see him when I got out.
Right.
Like, was he just watching people coming from the Walmart thinking they were Christmas shopping?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, because we have that happen a lot where I'm at.
Right.
Because people will, like, there is a well organized operation where people will get followed from the Florida Mall
Mhm.
to wherever they're going.
Yeah.
And then when you get out at, the next stop,
Right.
and go in
And
to
they
have
go
dinner
in, yeah.
or go to shop or whatever, then they jump out of their car and bust into yours and
Right.
take all your shit that you just bought.
And I was like, he would have been
Happens
super
a lot.
disappointed if he got into my car, because
Pickles
I
and
bought
soda
and pickles and a unicorn
and a couple
sweatshirt.
plastic
Well, I
containers.
hadn't even got those at the dollar store.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
So there was nothing in there. Like, I had my wallet.
Fucking
But it's
terrifying.
terrifying.
Scary
And I
as
was
fuck.
like glad that I had the forethought
Mm-hmm.
and like was watching him. Like, if I hadn't seen him, who knows what he would have done?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if like I had forgotten to lock my car? What would have happened?
Well, and so the thing that the extrapolation of that in my brain is, here in a half an hour or so, we're gonna go to bed.
yeah,
And I'm gonna lay in bed thinking about your Jeep in our driveway.
yeah,
And I'm gonna think about the time that I was at work. When
yeah,
I came outside and there's this fucker in my front seat of my Jeep
right.
trying to hotwire my
Yeah.
Jeep to steal it.
Yeah.
Like, all of that stuff is
It
gonna
just replays
like
and it,
click
yeah.
together and be
Mhm.
like, oh great. So
And it's going to add one more misfire in your brain every time you go.
yes.
anywhere.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
Did I lock my car? Did I
Right.
shut
And so
my?
if you wonder why things don't get done, why I'm not productive, why I'm not like this is why. This is what my brain is doing.
Uh-huh.
It's doing all of these things.
Yeah.
And I can't shut that off to do anything else.
Right.
Except we're talking about the thing with our son. The only saving grace to this is that the ADHD allows you to find the thing you love
And hyper focus.
hyper focus to the exclusion of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally shutting out the world.
And that's
Is it all
I
part
think
of
it's all part of it.
Sure.
Like, I think that's just your brain knows that you have to decompress all that crap, and so it's just gonna latch into this thing and disconnect you from the world.
Yep.
And that's
and sometimes that's this show, and sometimes that's our atheist group, and sometimes it's playing video games, and sometimes it's laying in bed from the moment I get home till the time I have to get up. Like sometimes it's just you go into shutdown mode.
You have to. Well, and I know like our son has anxiety about things too, and I worry about that because
we can't afford therapy to help him learn how to deal with it the way it needs to be.
Right, because of how I don't remember, and I don't know, maybe I've also blacked a lot of that stuff out, but I don't remember having the type of anxiety when I was a kid that he does.
I didn't have it when I was a kid either.
And that's
I was a super carefree, like I don't remember it anyway.
Right.
But that is also a symptom side effect of ADHD.
But I also wonder if we don't remember it because we didn't see it. We didn't see us through our
from the adult lens,
like parents. Sorry, boomers, but it was just suck it up.
Right, go outside and play.
Go burn your energy off, or go. You're bored,
Yeah.
So I just wonder if it's how you approach. So I think I don't know.
Right. There's a lot to it. Like, but that's a part of it.
I hope that we,
that we're
approaching it better.
Yeah.
So that he can recognize it, because I didn't recognize it in myself until I was almost too old to really fix damage that had already been done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, and there are times when you'll say to him, "Hey, this is what is going on right now. This is how you are. This is what's happening." And no, it's not.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not. And I'm like, bloop, let me record you for the next 5 minutes so that you can hear exactly what you are, because you are.
Yeah.
But I know you can't see it.
Well, and I think that's something that happens with people that have anxiety and processing disorders.
Oh, definitely.
Because I've had a lot of those experiences where something crazy will happen, and I won't name the person, but total denial. Like, I never said that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh yes, you did. And like, but I remember being a kid and feeling like, why would you lie about it? And I don't think it was necessarily lying, but just not having a clear recollection of events.
Yep.
So there's definitely a misfire in the brain there.
So anyway, all of that's to say, we need some security cameras up in front of our house.
We need some security cameras.
I need to pay somebody to come clean out my garage so we can get your Jeep in there so that the vehicles are inside at least. Yeah. And then we can put up some cameras. And you can help us get there by becoming one of our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/SarahTalk. And big thanks to our top patrons, Maria Holden, Russell, whose Patreon pledge is going through, but he didn't change his name. So thanks, Russell. And second place patron, who is John of the podcast formerly known as The Wayward Willis, which isn't producing anymore. But we miss you, John, and we love you.
We love you, John. We love all of our patrons.
Just come visit.
Yeah.
John, come visit.
Come on down. We got a bedroom nobody uses.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Well, but
speaking of children,
to be fair, he has anxiety at night because there's loud cars.
And
so
he's at the front. Yeah. Anyway. So
wow, what a plug.
Anyway,
I don't know what Russell's talking about.
I have no idea.
Maybe we're plugging him. I don't know.
No, that was the segue into Patreon. That's what I was talking about.
Got it. See, I wasn't paying attention to you.
I'm sorry, what? So I don't know what else you want to talk about. That's pretty much our week. That's how our week's been. And then I'm back to work, and I'm like, ugh, this fucking schedule, it just kills me and like sucks all my energy, and don't get to see my family. And it was funny because we were talking about this at work. The other third shift person and I were talking about, like, when you take a long weekend, it's not so bad. You're like, oh, it took a 3-day weekend, which in our world is a 2-day weekend.
Yeah.
But when you take 2 weeks off, coming back, it's just like, Fuck this.
That wasn't planned, by the
No,
way.
it wasn't. Nope. That's just how we are.
Oh my god.
Yep.
I think we both felt that way though, because it was such a good week that you were home, and I was like, I can sleep in.
Listen.
I can relax.
I woke up,
Sarah is
I
cooking
made-
and cleaning, and
scrambled eggs and sausage and hash browns, and these people ate like they have never eaten before.
you make it sound like I'm a horrible person that doesn't feed my family. I cook for you every day.
You do, and you have a lot going on, and so it was nice to be able to be there.
Yeah, okay.
To-
is that where you were going?
put it
or
in,
were you
yes.
going to make fun of the breakfast that I made for you this morning? Because that's what it
We
sounded
ate
like.
it was good. What?
Sounded like you were going to go, I cooked and I did this, and then this morning Becca made cinnamon rolls from a tube.
Oh, cinnamon rolls are great. Unless you're my sister who tries to like hide the fact that she took the middle and
Well, and I'm not really.
sneaks another one into the middle
I'm not-
spot.
I don't know. Y'all are weird. I just don't.
It was just
I
a thing in
can't-
our family.
It was in ours too, but maybe that's why I don't like it.
Maybe.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just not my thing. But that's good though, because one tube is not enough to feed all four of
Oh
us
Lord,
anymore.
no! No, you gotta
So-
cook two. Yeah. So
It's all
then,
good.
so then I get two medals and I sneak the other ones. Our kids are too smart for that shit. I was an idiot.
Oh God,
I was an
Could you
idiot when I was a
imagine?
kid. Apparently.
you were. Oh, our son would have had a field day if you tried to pull that on him.
I've tried.
Yeah, it didn't work.
He's like, that's not the middle. I don't know if it worked or not.
You know, you
Dino
should
was the
try-
one that did that to me all the time.
You know what you should try? Move the middle before you cook it.
And it's not the middle.
I know.
Dope.
That's the point of the joke.
God. Speaking of dope.
Dope.
I need some. I'd feel a lot better. My anxiety
You
would
need
be,
to go see your doctor and get
I
your
know.
card.
But I have anxiety about talking to my doctor. Look,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I don't like, listen, my doctor is a problem. Let's talk about the medical care for a minute. So the doctor that I'm seeing for my trans-related care, we haven't really talked about my transition stuff in a while. Not a big fan. She's fine.
She's weird.
She's weird. She orders a blood test every 3 months and looks at it. Now it's 6 months. Looks at it and goes, "Yep, everything seems to be in the normal levels. So we'll just keep you on the same."
Well-
now, are you going to have surgery? And I'm like, "Lady, we've had this conversation at least 4 times. If I could, maybe. If I had the money, maybe.
But
if I was sure, if I wasn't anxiety ridden about like it's a major surgical procedure,
Mhm.
maybe like get me high, pay for it, and I'll do it. Like,
So,
but anyway, I'm just so the doctor is not. We don't click, and all of the other ones are in Orlando, and I'm not going back to Orlando because it's a pain in the ass. So I haven't found anybody else that in the area that openly that treats trans people in hormone related care. And all of the people that I've talked to who are in the area who are seeing doctors are all looking for somebody too. And we know what my experience at Planned Parenthood was like. And that was I'm not going back there.
no.
I love what their activism wing of the agency does.
Yeah,
but
their medical care
care
sucks.
needed some work. And I talked to them. I tried to help them, do their thing. I met some people that are involved, but anyway, so hopefully that's improving, but I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
I can't do it, for myself. And so I tried to then separate that out. I went to see a doctor that you had seen that was right around the corner here
She was awesome.
that moved 30 minutes the other way
That
towards,
was not
towards
awesome.
Lakeland. That was not awesome. But I went and saw her, and she was great.
Yeah.
I
really
went in-
loved her.
So I had been into the doctor that I'm seeing for my hormone therapy,
Who is
a general
primary? She's,
PCP.
Yeah.
And I said to her on at least 3 visits, so gotta need to stop smoking. That's the thing I need to do. Chantix, I've used that before. That worked. Okay, well, you're in therapy to try to, yep, okay, you keep that, like, she just would not medicate it. And I don't know why. And I'm the type of person that needs Becca in the room to be like, so are you going to prescribe this or not? Because I won't say that. I'm not that person. I am not the confrontational, like I can't do it. And so I'll just go, yep, okay, and then I'll leave the appointment and I'm still doing, nothing's changed. So I went to see this other doctor that Becca had seen and had good things to say about, but she was in the Lakeland, so we went to Lakeland to do that. I loved her. She's great. I walked in, I said, hey, this is what's going on. And she said, I told her the whole story, and she says, oh yeah, I remember, because you had seen her and said, my wife's trans and she's going to be looking for a doctor's whatever. And so she was like, I really don't feel comfortable treating you for the hormone therapy because I'm just being honest. I'm not, I haven't studied that. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I would prefer that you stay with your doctor that you've been seeing. And I was like, fuck, because I was trying to find a new everything doctor. Like, okay, fine. I'll go to that doctor for that and I'll come to you for everything else.
Cool.
Great. And she was like, you're smoking? Let's stop that. What have you tried? Well, I've quit, I don't know, 2 times now, and I've used Chantix. And it's like a switch that flips off in your brain, and you just don't want them anymore, and that worked. Now, the problem is the stress after you come off of Chantix, keeping that stress at manageable so that I don't just go, wow, I'm stressed out. Sure would feel good if I had a cigarette right now.
Right.
That's the hard part. And I don't know the solution to that.
Xanax.
Sure, get me some. So she said, or weed. So she said, I'll smoke that instead of the anyway.
Yeah. No,
I like edibles better. So she was like, yeah, sure. Why aren't you on this? And I was like, oh, well, let me tell you about my doctor. And so she was like, no. I'm going to write you a prescription right now. How many months do you want? It's normally 3 months. Do you want to do 3 and then see where you're at and go from there? Because you can do 6 if you like. We can. She was like, absolutely, whatever you need to get you to stop smoking, I will do for you. And I was like, see, this is the doctor I need. God damn it. Why won't you treat me for everything else? So I thought, okay, fine. I'll go see the Dr. A for the hormone therapy, and I will see this doctor that I absolutely love for everything else. I go back for my follow-up for my, I'm almost done with my 3 months on Chantix, and my visit was great, and she was like, how's everything feeling? Oh, you haven't had a cigarette since you started taking the Chantix? Nope, because I know it isn't going to make me feel good, so I just quit doing it, like, right away, because they tried to tell you, like, oh, pick a date.
Right.
And then stop.
Right.
Like, time your drugs so that you're taking the pills for about a week, and then you stop. Like, no, that doesn't work, because you stop wanting them. So no, I haven't had one since whatever. And she's like, okay, great. Well, if you go ahead and take yourself off of the medication when you run out, and if you find that you need to do another month or 2 or whatever, like just call back and we'll reauthorize it. It's not a big deal. Again, I would rather have you on this drug than smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Okay, great. I walk out to the front office and I'm like, all right, so she wants to see me back in 3 months or 6 months or something. And he was like, oh yeah, she's not going to be here when you come back. She's leaving in December. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Where's she going now? I drove all the way out here because she used to be in Haines City and then she left to come here. She was 5 minutes away from my house. What's she doing now? She's going to like emergency care. She's not even going to be a primary. You got to be fucking kidding me. Now what do I do? Our healthcare in this country is fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
The bullshit of it is she probably took the job in urgent care because she gets more money.
Oh, I'm sure.
And she needs it.
Yep.
Which
I'm
is
sure.
so
And I don't
ridiculous.
blame her.
No, I don't. You
No.
can't blame her.
No. Damn it. Where was I going with all of that? I'm just angry. Ugh.
I don't remember.
I need weed, and I'm too anxiety-ish to go and demand it. That's my problem. Well, here's what needs to happen. Y'all fuckers need to legalize that shit, and not just medical, because we're like, oh, well, if it's medicine, then you can get high off your ass if you want, and that'll be fine. But a doctor has to say it's okay first. So it's okay, is what you're saying.
Well,
Oh, and let's go to all the states that have legalized it, and it's not a problem.
I don't have anxiety about it.
Oh!
Maybe.
Jeff, help me out. Help a sister out, will you?
She wants weed.
I could,
Legalized.
Look, I could go
Or not.
or not.
Well, no, you can't be on the record saying
got
not
some
legalized
friends-
weed.
Got some friends I could put some calls into. Well, it's legal if I do it in Colorado, right? If
you
I
can-
do it where it's legal, it's fine.
Listen,
You just
I know
can't bring it
people
on
with
the-
a card. You just have to go get evaluated and get a card. You have anxiety, it should be an easy pass.
Well, Jen Marvin has been on the chat, at least, or in the live stream, at least some point of this night.
yeah.
Am I nuts enough to need a card? And then how much does that cost? It's like $500 or some shit to
I'll
get a
find
card.
out.
Like,
It's not. There's no way it's that much. Well, maybe it
it's
is.
really expensive.
I don't know.
I know
but
that.
It's whatever.
Cost
So go to
prohibitive.
patreon.com.
If you go to SarahTalk.com/weed, you can contribute to the weed fund. If you go to SarahTalk.com
You get a GoFundMe to pay for
security,
your marijuana medical
pay
card.
for our security cameras so that I
Yeah.
can sleep tonight and not have to
my
worry about.
God. I'm sure that it'll be fine.
This is why I drink, y'all. This is why. It's this because I can't smoke pot.
Well,
And I'm out of Coke. So you all know what that means. Not that kind.
oh my gosh. Speaking of Coke, so our little one for
Just
like
the smell of this brings me back to that that night at the
Here,
towny bar
you want
that
some? I know.
that Aaron got me drunk, and that's good. Whoa, hey, don't overdo it. That Aaron got me drunk and on Long Island iced teas, and
See,
I was puking in
my
the bathroom
mom-
all over the place.
My mom has one. Russell says, ask mom how much it was to get a med card.
How's Jehovah feel about that?
Well,
So
it's
anyway,
legal because it's medical.
oh well, whatever.
I don't know. And that's another one of those things. Like, okay,
Right.
so if you were, okay, how do I phrase it? If you were trying to think of something that's changed. Okay, well, they'll use that one, even though whatever. I don't know. My dad might.
Things that have changed since they were
My
like,
dad,
young.
my dad might be able to tell me how this works. if you were disfellowshipped because you were smoking pot.
Oh yeah, and then they
But
legalized
then the law
it.
changed.
Yeah. How
Is
does
that an
work?
automatic freebie? You can come back now.
Well, I mean, it
I don't
all,
think
it
it
all
is.
depends.
I don't think it is because
if you
there
were
are-
incarcerated because you were selling
Well,
it before it
right.
was legal. Like there's that whole
Yeah.
thing too. And how does God see it?
I don't think it is because I think, well, okay, that because then there's like, oh man, my train just derailed. Shit.
And she has not had a single drop of the rum. Wow. So mental health is important, kids. That's what we're
God,
talking about.
I had it. It was there. Okay, what was I saying?
If times change, the law changes, Jehovah changes. What happens? That's what you were saying.
Oh, see, Russell says now it's a personal conscious matter. I don't know.
Okay. When they made it okay for people to abort fetuses, did that then become a personal conscience?
Oh, that's
matter,
where I was
or
going.
is That
That's where I was going.
that's still
because there
not
are
okay.
there are things that are according to the law legal to do, but you can't
Right.
do as
Right,
a witness.
right,
Like
right.
smoking cigarettes would be a good example
Right.
of something that is perfectly legal, but
Right.
so yeah, I don't think it would matter.
Well, good thing I don't want to be a witness. So
Oh,
what was it Rachel said about Keith? If you become a witness, I'm going to beat your ass or something and kill you. I don't remember what she said.
I should punch him
That's
or beat him or
Keith
something.
has had the witnesses.
Got the letter from last week in the envelope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's blurry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ready to go.
I finished the letter. It's ready to go.
That's so funny.
Anyway.
I still don't know that it was a coincidence.
Well, we'll see. Should I carbon copy someone else?
No.
Okay. Well, that's all I have. I don't know. Well, I could sit here talking about how miserable life can get.
That's probably not
all
a
night
good
long, but
a
it's
good
probably not good for your mental health either to sit around. I don't
Well,
know.
I
Talking
don't know.
about is important,
Therapeutic.
but in the proper thing. Anyway, what I was
Welcome
gonna
to therapy,
say.
kids.
What I was gonna say is, I don't know how to bring it up without a Oh. Interesting. Somebody can timestamp that and figure it out later. Was about witnesses and disfellowshipping and waking up and all of that sort of stuff. Just we probably can't talk about that, but
oh yeah,
if
probably.
you can, wake up. and here's the thing, like we said this at our atheist community meeting 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Fuck it. We're your family now.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Like, if you're worried about, because there were some new people who had never come to the group before.
So sweet, so nice. Just
Yep.
moved to the area.
Yeah.
Like, which can't wait to get to know them.
Yeah, but XJWs,
and
or he was at least.
He was.
I didn't get her story.
I don't know that she was.
No. Anyway,
but
he was properly disfellowshipped.
Yeah.
Like, he came up and said, I don't believe this shit anymore.
Right.
And they were like, that scene in Star Trek The Next Generation when Worf gets disfellowshipped from the Empire and all of the Klingons are like,
oh Jesus.
And then they turn around.
Break your microphone.
Yeah, and then they turn around and like you are left standing alone in the middle of the room and the council has spoken.
Yeah.
That whole that's exactly what it is. My Star Trek people will get that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I mean I've had these discussions recently about my own experience and how I for a long time here.
No, I'm good.
I've got Mountain Dew. I opened it.
I'm good. Go ahead.
For a while, my exit had to be strategic.
Right.
Because I knew what the consequences are. And I knew, I was listening to a song the other day too. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the anthem song. But it was like one of those things where as I was planning my move, even though everything happened fairly quickly.
Right.
For a while, I had just been sitting in wait.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what am I really doing here? What am I going to do?
Right.
But there's so much at stake.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was the Dixie Chicks song, Wide Open Spaces.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And the part of the chorus is she knows the high stakes.
Give me my guitar, I'll play for you.
No, I'm not going to sing it. But that like you go through that when you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on in my brain right now?
Yeah.
Because you have to differentiate what's real and what's not real.
Yep.
And I mean, I remember having conversations with family members that weren't witnesses about, listen, you don't understand this. Like there's like severe consequences. I can't just up and say, I don't believe this shit anymore.
Right.
And I had family that were like, oh, they're your family. You're not giving them enough credit. And I'm like, you just don't understand. I've seen it happen. Yep. And like I had just this bubble of people around me that were close friends and I didn't really want to lose it. But, I recently had a conversation with somebody about how it was like, just rip the Band-Aid off, because it was either I pull myself out of the situation and put distance.
Right.
And the hurt is in my control.
Right.
Or I do the thing.
Yep.
And then you guys just disappear from my life and then the hurt isn't in my control.
Right. Yeah.
But growing up as a witness, you kind of learn how to shun people.
That's fucked up.
So to
fucked up.
Turn it on its end, when I left town and I just kind of shut everybody out except for like my immediate family and like a couple of close friends. You were
kind of doing in reverse what they would have done to you.
Exactly, but that was the only way that I can control the hurt.
Right. No, I get it. Absolutely. It makes sense.
So,
I've never thought of it in that from that perspective before.
But I had that was the only way out without destroying relationships.
Right.
My mom and I have always been on a rocky, we just don't relate to each other.
Right.
And so
religion or not.
Religion or
just
not,
you-
exactly.
you
We
don't-
just there's
right.
it doesn't.
You were daddy's girl. Like,
I am.
I mean, I get along with my mother better
Right.
than I do with my dad,
Yeah.
largely because my dad wasn't around. He was working a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I spent more time relationship building with my mom. Like,
Yeah.
kids kind of gravitate towards one or the other.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it is.
Sure. And I mean, I don't know that I've
But you could sit down with your dad right now and have a conversation about anything
probably.
that you
Oh, yeah.
couldn't have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I could always talk to my dad. And the
Yeah.
funny part about that was we really rarely had deep, like, thoughtful conversation
Philosophical, yeah.
about it because we're just, yeah, okay, cool. Most of the
Right.
time. I mean, we've had our disagreements.
Sure. Oh, yeah. come
I
on.
am certainly sure we've told each other fuck off quite a few times.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's what brings us back together is that we can relate to each other, you know?
Yeah.
But my mom and I just don't have that. And it's taken a long time to get to a point where we can
Put that
put
aside,
it aside.
and be civil.
And like I went
yeah.
down there and she was there for a few days and we had a really good time. But also what's going on the side there is mending on my end, trying to mend the pieces of that broken relationship because she is hurt that I left.
Sure.
And she doesn't really understand who to blame. She thinks she's thought that she's had it all figured out. And because of the situation and the fact that she's still a witness, it's hard because I have to like spoon feed her tiny little itty bitty bites
Yeah.
so that she just doesn't explode on me.
Mhm.
Because if I just drop it all on the table, I'm probably the spawn of the devil,
Right.
you know? But
Right.
it's so much more complex than that. But because she's so in the clouds with so many things, religion or not,
Yeah.
it's just at this point, I'm just at the point where I need to maintain the relationship, keep it civil.
Mhm.
When I see tiny openings to try to give her a better understanding of things,
Right.
I try to give her that much.
Yep.
Because I want her to understand where I'm at,
Yeah.
but I'm afraid of the damage it will do.
That is something that is a very common refrain in people who are of differing beliefs.
Sure.
Whether that's atheist and believer
Mhm.
or Catholic and Mormon. Like, I just want you to know who I am. That's really at the bottom. You strip all that other stuff away.
Yeah.
I want you to know me for me. I want you to know who I am.
Right.
As a person.
Yeah.
And you can't because you have this like rose-colored, like tinted
Mhm.
glasses of like what the world should be like, and
Right.
one day you'll come to know the truth again. And
Yeah.
like, you can't step away from what you wanted me to be, or who
Right.
you wanted me to be, or how you wanted me to
Yeah.
be, and just see me for who I am and accept that.
Right.
That's hard.
Which the heartbreaking part about that is from the standpoint of the child.
Mm.
When you see that they can just look at any other random person in the world and accept them for who they are,
Yes. Yep.
it's heartbreaking.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh my God, am I that much worse?
Right.
Like,
Right.
is it like it, like, you know me, you gave birth to me, you've known me my whole life.
Yep.
Am I that much worse than some rando on
I'm
the street that you like? And it's hard. I know that for as much as I hold back, she holds back too,
Uh-huh.
because it has gotten to that point where we've come to that head to head where I've had to say, listen, we cannot have these heated discussions because 9 out of 10 times my kids are around.
Well, yep. Right.
I don't want them to see me
Right.
arguing with you. I don't want them to see you
Mhm.
argue with me because they're old enough now that they're going to start asking questions,
Right.
and I'm not going to lie to them.
And our kids are being brought up to, like, we're not going to argue. But I'll sit down with you and you can tell me
Sure.
what you think and how you feel and what you believe. And
Right.
like, we can have a conversation about it.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to get defensive and be like, bullshit. You believe in Jesus Christ. That's not the truth. Like we don't do that to our kids.
No.
Like, okay, well, tell me why.
Right. Yeah.
Where'd you get that idea from?
Right. What was it? Our kids said at lunch today.
Oh God, what was it?
Something about your spirit. Our spirits.
Oh, yeah, spirits.
Like, excuse me?
He said something about some people believe
You've been playing too much Zelda.
That your spirit comes into your body before you're born or something like that. And then we're like, what are you talking about? And he was like, religious people believe that.
Where he gets it from.
Oh, man.
But it's weird though. And that's a very hard thing for dealing with. I wanted to go back to this, but dealing with family members when you have decided that you've changed your beliefs.
Right. Right.
And I was talking to a friend recently who was having some issues because this is her first Christmas with her family. Her new family, new baby, baby's first Christmas. And she's got family that are witnesses.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're going to want to come in over to the house and they're going to babysit and we're decorating for Christmas. And I get that. And we went through this thing with when our son was a baby. Well, before that even. But my mom would say things like just offhand little, well, tell me when you put your tree down and I'll come visit.
Right. And now we're like, tell me when you want to come visit,
and we'll put the tree
I'll
up.
know when to put the tree up.
But but also like that to me is just for a long time, and I didn't really realize this was a thing, but until I had this conversation with my friend. But for a long time, I just thought that was just my mom being my mom,
right? Because
I remember being a kid when grandmother decorated for every single holiday. She decorated for freaking President's Day, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year, you name it. She had
There's a box of decorations for every holiday.
She was just hardcore into crafts, and she made most of her decorations by hand. And so it's just one of those things. But like my mom would say things, and we were kids, like, oh, well, we got to go over and she called my grandmother's house Satan's Lair.
Oh my God.
When it was decorated for Halloween or for Christmas. And I'm just like I remember those things and I think, oh my gosh, but I always thought that was just terrible. Her way of,
right.
But I don't now, because hearing somebody else having anxiety about their family coming over and worrying about Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And then I did talk to a friend of mine who was actually, they had been inactive for years, and then they didn't move, I guess. And they finally, after years of being inactive, decorated for Christmas, put lights up on the house. And I guess somebody drove by their house.
Oh no.
And the next thing you know, they're being summoned to a judicial meeting and got disfellowshipped.
What?
And I thought, whoa.
Shit.
And that's a very, and I'm not an apologist, and I think it's ridiculous. But people like my mom would hear that story and think, well, it had to be more than that. And I'm like, well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But if the reason that they pulled them in for a judicial meeting was simply because there was Christmas lights on their house.
Right.
And why do they care what somebody is doing when they've not been to the Kingdom Hall in 10 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do remember, when I was a kid. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Can you pause your story for 30 seconds so I can dump the memory card and start over?
Fine, bitch.
Oh, damn it. I think I hit stop before you said that. Shit. That reminds me. I have, there's a new clip that I want to use on the intro to the show from a couple shows ago.
Who all is watching?
And I
can't
forgot
see who's in the chat. There's
what it was now.
4 people.
What? 2 of them's us.
Yeah.
Russ and
David. Well, my dad was in there for a little while.
David, your dad was in for a little while. Jennifer was in for a little while. Jennifer was probably like, this is work.
Did you see this one?
I did. Yes. Oh, let's talk about that. Hang on.
Yeah. Well, we can't really without spoilers.
Fuck the spoilers. Because after my rant last week about Oh, fuck me. Are you kidding? An unexpected error is keeping. Boy, I swear to God, if I deleted this whole thing. Hey, we need a new, a bigger memory card. So if you'll head on over to patreon.com/SarahTalk or go to SarahTalk.com and hit the Patreon button. Does anybody ever go to our website?
I don't know.
An
You have the
unrelated
tracker.
thing. Like, I don't think, like, I think about all of the podcasts that I listen to. I don't ever go to their websites. What do they possibly have on your website that I need to go see? Why do we have a website?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Russell, it's nobody that you know. He sent me a private message. He wanted to know who got DF'd
okay.
over Christmas.
I see. We're at 52% transferring. So if you'll just be patient. We could have taken a break, but I don't have it lined up. And
It's okay. This is more fun.
sure. Don't forget what you were going to say, though. You're getting ready to go into some long thing.
I'll try.
What was it? They didn't hear that because you whispered it too quietly.
I said, I don't remember.
Okay.
It's something about...
Hey, if you're listening and then watching the chat, remind us. I'm going to have to edit this shit.
Yeah, right. What were we talking about?
3,
Christmas?
2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Somebody got DF'd over Christmas.
You cut me off and I
something,
forget where my
you were
train was going.
Do I need to play it back?
Maybe. I don't freaking know.
I can do it.
Okay.
Uh,
Does that mean I have to listen to my stupid voice?
yes. Hit record. It might play the intro again. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah. Like, I remember those things and I think, oh my gosh. Like, but I always thought that was just
terrible.
her
You went too far.
way of,
Right. Too far back?
but I don't
Or too
now
far ahead?
because
Too far back.
hearing somebody else having anxiety about their family coming over and worrying about what?
Here.
And I thought, whoa.
Shit.
Like, and that's like a very, like, and I'm not
This is
an
so meta.
apologist and I think it's ridiculous. But like, people like my mom would hear that story and think, well, it had to be more than that. And I'm like, well, maybe it was, maybe
It's a
it wasn't.
conspiracy.
But if the reason that they pulled them in for a
Pour me
judicial
another
meeting
drink.
was simply because there was Christmas lights on their house.
Right.
And why do they care what somebody is doing when they've not been to the Kingdom Hall in 10 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do remember, like, when I was a kid. Okay. I'm sorry, I keep
Can
cutting
you
you off.
pause your story for? Okay, you remember when you were a kid,
I remember when I was a kid, a lot of things.
but
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Oh
Holy
my
crap.
God, that's bad.
Maybe it'll come to me, but holy shit, where was that train going?
Man.
Russ, in other notes, Russell says, damn the editing you're going to have to do this week. You should just keep it in.
Yeah, you think I'm going to do editing?
Oh my gosh. We're talking about Christmas lights.
Something about when you were a
When I was
kid,
a
DFing people over
kid.
Christmas.
Oh, that's what it was. It was
great.
So, okay. So we didn't start going to meetings until I was 8 years old.
Right. Yeah. So
we
you
had-
remember having Christmas.
Like, I remember having Christmas, but
Yep.
because my mom had been a witness before, she still had the thing in the back of her mind. We can't celebrate Christmas.
Wait. Hold on. So,
whoa.
Trippy.
Okay.
So your mom was a witness, then she was a Catholic, and then she was a witness
No.
again?
She was raised as a Catholic.
Yeah.
She converted to witness.
Yeah.
She got disfellowshipped.
Uh-huh.
She was out for 10 years.
Ah, okay.
In that interim of 10 years, she had me, and then I was 8 years old when we started going to meetings. Okay, got it?
Yep.
So there's a 10-year window where my mom was disfellowshipped. We celebrated Christmas because my dad was not ever a witness until I was 8.
Right.
And so we
Okay.
celebrated Christmas because my dad celebrated Christmas.
Sure.
Kind of like this is a, like when an ex-JW or when a JW goes and gets with somebody who's not a witness and they want to celebrate Christmas, but they just blame it on their spouse for a while until the family gets used to it, right? So
Right.
there's like a reverse thing going on
Okay.
there because my mom's family didn't really care because they were all Catholic.
They didn't, right.
But she did. She had this, she just, the symbolism of Christmas, I think, was a problem for her. So we never had a Christmas tree.
I just don't understand.
We never had a Christmas tree. There was never like.
It's a mindset I just can't.
I know.
Put myself in.
It's
I just
weird.
can't.
The last year we celebrated Christmas was the first year we ever had a Christmas tree, and it was the only year we ever had a Christmas tree.
Huh.
And I remember it because it was so weird. Because my neighbors had Christmas trees, but like we had this like piano, and I remember like every year the gifts were just like on the piano, and there was like stockings. I remember one year my dad like we got skates or something, and he like wrapped the knee pads up separately. And then I remember one year we got Ninja Turtle jelly beans.
Is that why you wrap like every battery?
Yes,
separately. Yes. Is this why?
Because I think it's hilarious. Because I remember opening, there was like one knee pad.
She's like, I got the little one a playset. It's a Peppa Pig playset, and it comes with like 4 different figurines, but it's also battery operated. It takes 8 AA batteries, and so each little figurine gets wrapped separately and put in a stocking, and then each little battery gets wrapped separately and put in a stocking.
I do not actually individually wrap the batteries. I wrap the package
She
of
would
batteries.
if I let her. Yeah, right. Well, no, we always did that. Wrapping the package of batteries is fine. Yeah.
So, but I remember like the weird things that I remember about Christmas are those little weird things.
Okay.
But I think maybe that's why I latch onto them.
Yeah.
For our kids.
Right.
Because it's like I don't have a lot of Christmas memories, so the ones I do are special.
Yeah.
Like I will never forget opening up the knee pad under the tree. It was the last year, and it was under the tree. I was like, what am I going to do with one fucking knee pad? And then we get the stockings off the wall, and there's not the other knee pads in the stockings.
Right.
So that was the other thing that my dad would do.
Right.
He'd separate
Spread them all
stuff.
out. Sure. Yeah.
And it made us feel like, oh, we got more. Like, but the Ninja Turtle jelly beans, I'll always remember those too. I don't know why. We each, Austin or Russell, whatever your stupid name is, Russell and I each got a bag of Ninja Turtle jelly beans one year, and it was like the coolest thing ever. I got a Barbie Jeep one year.
Yep.
And it was hauling a jet ski. That was cool.
See, and we've talked about this recently, but we have a fresh memory card. So what the fuck? I feel bad because I feel like I used to be better at Christmas than I am now. Like, I feel like I used to be good at it. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I feel guilty. I feel bad about it. But I used to be really good at, like, identifying gifts and keeping the secrets and doing all of the things. And now I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about it. Now, for me, it's more about being together.
Yeah.
Gonna cry?
Don't cry.
I am.
Okay. So, for me...
And I feel bad.
It's...
because I'm not doing Christmas for you.
Oh, sure you are.
The way I want to.
Oh, stop that.
Can't tell you how many times we've had this conversation. I cry every time.
Fucking shit just got real, guys. Wow, welcome to the live show. Hey, stop that.
It's okay. No, it's fine. This needs to happen.
Yeah, no, I know. But you're going to make me cry. And then it'll just be blubber talk, and we don't need that.
And then I'll just end the show. So,
okay, excuse me for a minute.
Wait, we're out of soda. What are you doing? So then, but we've had this conversation, and the good part about it, Jesus Christ, woman, and the if there's a silver lining to it, I think it's that we both agree that it's not really about us anymore. It's about the kids, and that, like, you said something that made me feel a lot better about it, which was what you're getting out of Christmas is doing that for the kids.
Yeah.
That it's not about us
really
anymore. But you do for me.
Whatever.
And that makes me feel bad because I used to be good at it.
But you give me the gift of being with my kids every day.
Yeah. Gift. Oh, somebody timestamp that because we're going to need that later.
No, like seriously. I don't need things.
I know.
And I know that it's, whatever. What did that just do?
What?
I don't know. The screen popped up something.
Where?
Yeah, no, nothing's different. Okay, then my eyes are...
No, you're good.
Changing, playing tricks on me. But no, I consider it a huge sacrifice that you work the way that you do, and it practically kills you. And because of it, I get to be with the kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You just.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I spent how many years not doing Christmas? I'm not missing.
No,
I've already
right.
I've already missed out on the important, like, that important gap of time where you make those memories and you create those family traditions.
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
Right. No, I love this place is like Santa's fucking village around here. Like it really is. And that's awesome. Like that much I love.
Yeah.
I love like while you were gone, I turned all the Christmas lights on and sat in the living room with the lights out and enjoyed the Christmas lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuz I love that.
Yeah. But that's like I know that I overdo it, but I overdo it because I want the kid. I remember going to my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
Satan's lair. And thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool." Like, but I wasn't allowed to say that. I wasn't allowed to be interested in that stuff. Like that Christmas ornament that I got this year.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
talk about your Christmas ornament tradition while I go get another soda to mix into my rum. You don't want me to just drink straight rum from here on out.
So I found this. It's an old style. What's it? I don't even know what the word is. The ceramic trees that you put the light pegs in, and then you put a light bulb up inside of it to light them up. My grandmother used to make those. Like she'd buy the unfinished tree and then she'd paint it, and she'd glue the lights in, and she would make them, and she had them all over her house, and they were the coolest looking things. And this goes back to the conversation about nostalgia. You see something from your childhood and you go, "Oh, well, now you can buy them already made, for the big ones that plug in and have the lamp and everything are like $30-$40 at Target, I think. And then they have a smaller one that's a battery operated one. Well, then I found the Christmas ornament size. It's only 3 inches tall, and it's just a Christmas ornament, and you can put a light bulb from the light strand in the tree right up into it. And it is a nostalgic thing. And I see it, and oh my gosh, this reminds me of Grandma's house. But I remember like going to Grandma's house and seeing these things, and I wanted one so bad, but I don't celebrate Christmas. It's so pretty, but I don't celebrate Christmas. And so when I saw this in the Target, it was very hard for me to not spend the $40 on the big one. And
How
then
big was the big one?
It's like this tall. It's like a table centerpiece.
Shit. Okay.
Maybe when the kids are grown, I don't think they'll break it.
Because I knew you.
Yeah.
I missed this story
They had the 3 different sizes. They have the big one that has an actual cord that plugs in.
Right.
And the medium one is a battery size.
Okay.
A little battery operated one. And then the miniature one is a Christmas ornament.
Okay.
Anyway, so I got the Christmas ornament. What I do for our kids is every year, I get them an ornament and I personalize it, or I make them a personalized ornament.
For the kids, she says. She does this for all of us.
I do. I usually get Sarah one, and I try to get myself one. The goal is when the kids move out and they're setting up their first Christmas
Such a great
tree
idea. Yep.
on Black Friday or after Thanksgiving, I can hand them a box, and it's going to be
here's all your ornaments
from your childhood for your tree.
Yep.
Because I didn't have that.
Yep.
So that's what I do for the kids, and we've got boxes now that I got for them, so I can just pack them up, and each year I can give them the box when we set the tree up so that they can put their own ornaments on the tree.
That's another thing I want to talk about.
But I agonized over what my ornament was going to be this year because I just wasn't finding anything that I really liked, and I was like, I'm just not going to get one. I found a really cool one for Sarah. It's a wood engraved plaque thing with Captain Picard wearing a Santa hat on it, and it says,
"Let it snow."
No, make it snow.
Oh, make it snow. That's right.
It's make it snow.
Make it so. Right.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I got her that one. And then I got the kids Actually, the littlest one picked hers out. We were in Michael's the day they were setting up Christmas, and she loves
She
Christmas.
has this thing too where she's like, it has my name on it.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing, and it doesn't. But okay, whatever, baby. It's gonna when Mommy's done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that's where it started because we got it, and I said, "I'm gonna put your name on it," and then that was
Yeah, it was either that or like you had bought something that had
I
her name on it,
did,
and you're like,
yeah.
oh look, it has your name
Yeah,
on it, and now
yeah.
she's like, oh, if it has my name on it, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got them. I picked everybody's ornaments out, and I was the only one who didn't have one. And then I saw this, and I went, "Oh, it's my Christmas. It's my grandma's Christmas tree." And so that was my thing.
Yep.
I don't remember where I was
So
necessarily
I wanted
going
to
with
talk about. It was something about Christmas. The ornaments. I don't fucking know.
giving the kids ornaments.
I love that. Well, I enjoy that Christmas is a BFD to you. Like I really do, because I love it. Like, you know, the nostalgia and remembering. Like I grew up with Christmas was a big fucking deal to my family.
Yeah.
Like we would go to, like we would have our Christmas morning.
Mm-hmm.
With just, you know, me and my sisters when they still lived at home. But Christmas Eve we had usually at my mom's mom and dad's house. We'd do Christmas Eve with them, and then or vice versa, and do like Christmas Day with the other grandparents. But like it was a big deal. My dad's family, so like my grandparents on that side had 3 kids, and they each had 3 kids. And like, there's just kids. Like,
Yeah.
It's the family of cousins.
Yeah.
Like, and we were all super close back in the day. And then we started having our own kids and moving away. And like, you just not close like you used to be. It used to be.
That's
all the cousins were there for Christmas.
Yeah. My grandmother would have like, she would always have 2. I don't know if it was every year, but I remember a few times where before we stopped celebrating, she'd have a Halloween party and then a huge screened-in patio at her house and a huge house. And she loved all the holidays and she was decorated, so she'd just have people over. And usually it was just the whole family. Sorry, you're fine. But I remember like it was like, you know, it was just a big deal to get the family together for the holidays. And then we stopped.
Yeah.
And I think it was hard. It was really, really hard for her.
I'm sure.
I think it was hard for my dad because the family was like super tight knit. And then, you know, all of a sudden, and I don't know. My mom is just a weird duck because her family's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like up until maybe 10 years ago, the whole family would go to my one aunt's house for Thanksgiving every year.
Yeah. Well, and this is, I'm sorry to,
but then everybody just started getting old.
derail your train, but like, this isn't the forum for this conversation, and we've sort of had it before, but like, maybe to the listener, you might be thinking, because I certainly was, what the fuck happened? Like, how did you get into this crazy cult? And I know it's not a cult, it's the Church of, you know, Jehovah, blah, 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 whatever, but like, your whole family's Catholic.
I have no idea. Like I know the story of how my family ended up there. And
right. Yeah.
It's not really one I'm going to share here.
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's not the.
But I don't know how my mom got into it, other than like I think flippantly once she said something about the person she wanted to marry, her first husband was a witness.
Oh.
And so I don't know if it was for a guy.
That's weird.
But
I don't know.
Like I really don't know, and I don't. I'm not the type to just dig.
No, but it's interesting to me, like because when you look at like a lot of the street epistemology stuff that happens, you know, a lot of those questions are, you know, why do you believe what you believe?
Right.
How did you come to believe this was true? And so many times that answer is, I was born into it.
Right.
My parents were Christian.
Yeah.
So I was raised in the first Christian church.
Right.
That's what I believed.
Right.
Because I was raised in it.
Yeah.
It's totally different when somebody like when somebody converts.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, I think there's so much more of an interesting, like there's a more interesting story there than just, well, that's what my parents were, so that's what I was.
Right. Well, and I've heard a lot of stories about, and maybe that's why I kind of like let that comment, oh, that must be what it was. She did it for a guy. Because I've heard a lot of those stories where it's like, well, I was raised this way, but my husband's Jewish, and the only way we could get married is if I converted.
Right, sure.
Like, I worked for a woman who converted to Judaism for her husband, or her husband converted to Judaism for him. I'm not sure which, and it's like, really? Like, seriously? Because I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know so many people that are like, yeah, fuck that. Like,
right.
If my religion is the problem, then there's going to be deeper problems.
Right. Well, so let's end on that, because that's where we started this conversation, which is to say, if you have religious family that has a problem with you celebrating Christmas or whatever, fuck them. You're our family now. Like, we are your family. And that has to be, I shared this meme a couple of times, and I don't think you can say it enough, but it's the idea that, like, we have to stop teaching people, like, oh, that's your mom, though.
Yeah.
But that's an important relationship. That's your mother. Right. And you should treat that differently than you would treat any other relationship that you have with anybody, because that's your parent.
Right.
When the reality is, sometimes parents are toxic.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means you have to back off or cut them off completely and find your own family. Make your own family. And
it goes both ways.
Yep.
Sometimes your kids are toxic.
Yes.
They grow up, they get out of the house, they get into their, they get their own ideas. Yep. And sometimes they're bad ideas.
Sure.
Like, it happens.
Yep.
But
this idea that, like, oh, the blood is thicker. No, stop.
Blood is not thicker than water.
Just stop.
Physically, like, maybe, but not.
You have to surround yourself with people who are going to support you and be good for you. And sometimes that's your family, and sometimes it's not. Yeah. And when it's not, call us.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you couldn't tell, Gizmo here is ready to.
Gizmo's ready to
Gizmo's going to talk on the microphone. Gizmo is ready to go to bed. And so I think it's time for us to go to bed. Also, that little bastard beat another, what are they called? It's not dungeons anymore. Shrine. It's shrine. Yeah, a little bastard beat another shrine. So, anyway. Hey, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us and doing the live show again on a whim. And don't know what we'll do next week. It's all a surprise.
Luckily, the little one was just tired enough tonight.
We'll see you next time. You've been listening to SarahTalk.
SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. SarahTalk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.